Howdy there, folks. My name's Stephen Bresnaugh, and I've got a lot of requests saying, how do you do the gutless method on big game animals? And out here out west, usually you're backpacking stuff out, and so you want to get it quartered up. Plus, with an antelope especially, or North American pronghorn, you want to get it skinned and quartered as quickly and efficiently as possible without contaminating it with guts, because that's going to make this meat the best meat, rather than if you don't do it the right way, it can actually be some of the worst game meat there is. And so today we're going to show you how to do the gutless method, or at least how I do the gutless method. Some wild game do carry bacteria or different types of diseases, so it is a good idea to glove up. So that's what we're going to do here today. Fun little tip while I'm gloving up here is a male antelope will have a black cheek patch and a female will not. So both can have horns, but if you want to know the best way to tell the gender, it's to look for that cheek patch. We're going to be using some game bags over here with this knife. This is the exchangeable blade system knife. It's a really good knife. Comes with a couple different blades here. Each blade is kind of purpose designed. Comes with a skinning blade, more like a joint blade. It's serrated for cutting up near the joints, and a smaller blade there for cutting up meat and whatnot. I like to just go ahead and use that big blade. These are resharpenable. Go on just like that. So take this blade, you just have it like this. You know, push in on this tab, slides right in place. Very lightweight. And I'm not saying this is the best way. This is the way I do it. So you're going to start right here, go with the fur, right along the spine. You don't want to go too deep because you'll get into the back strap. The one thing with antelope is their hair comes out really easily, but you want to take it, start going with the hair, or with the inside of the hide, I mean. Down the back. If you want to, you can actually make little holes in the hide, and those can work as handles so you can more easily grab it and pull it back. So as you can see here, I'm going to make a little hole, and I'm going to give it a good tug. And you want to go not into the hide or into the back of the skin. You want to go like with it, and that way you don't dull your knife. My wife made a really good shot on this goat. It's imperative with an antelope that you get that hide off quickly, get this meat cooled down. I like to take it right in front of that front shoulder and make a split right there. And that way I can kind of start pulling it away from the shoulder here. I'm going to start peeling back the opposite side of the spine just a little bit right here. And that way it's kind of out of the way when I start on the other side. I just get on that, right on that spine right here. Sometimes it's easier if you start in the middle. And you just kind of work right back like you're filleting a fish along that. Now on the back side here, you don't want to go too deep, or you can go into the guts and contaminate your meat. Now, sometimes I do take off that front quarter before I do this, and it is a little bit easier then to get to this back strap. Then you want to run, come back, couple ribs, follow those down, right down in the opposite direction. And this way, you have a starting point. Then you grab, put your hand in there, grab it, work it back towards that shoulder. Now this is where sometimes it's easier to remove the shoulder first, that front shoulder. Cut in. Then you're going to start tracing it down. These gloves are way too big for me. Tracing it down, just like so. This has a pretty small back strap. And there you have one back strap. Really good tasting, high quality meat. If you see like what looks like little worms down the center, it's actually little like tendons that hold that on. So not worms. Go ahead and throw it in a game bag. That way it stays bug free, debris free. Then we're gonna come down the side here. If you can lift up that leg, put it in your armpit. Come around the back side. Kind of pierce in. Try to get on the back side of that hide, then work down carefully. Working this hide off the opposite side. Put your leg like this. Pin that leg in between your legs, and then you can easily start working down the side here. You want to get down all the way to its hip, right in the center. Careful not to hit where it goes to the bathroom. You come in here, you'll feel this bone right here, its hip, and you'll follow it back, and there'll actually be a ball joint right here. And you just got to get around that ball joint. That's the hardest part about doing this. If you have two people, it's a little easier because one person can kind of push leverage on it to help it come apart. But you just get around that ball joint. Then you're going to come right in along the hip bone. Cut that off. There you have a rear quarter. Then I'm going to take it, and you can either do this before or after you remove the entire quarter. It's actually easier if you do it before sometimes. Come down here, and then you're actually going to just cut this leg around like this. You're just working along that joint, and it's actually on the rear leg. It's going to be just past this. So this is the like Achilles tendon or something like that. This tendon comes up. You're going to cut it about 3 to 4 inches down from that, about 3 inches down from that. Then you take it, pin it down, and you're going to twist it sideways. You have one complete quarter here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get more of this fur off. It's actually a lot easier to do without gloves, but you should wear gloves. And there we have it. Put it in the bag. There's one quarter. Put that next to the back strap. We're going to do this quarter. Once again, trap this leg. You're going to have an area right here. Come in. Be careful not to cut yourself. Pull that down. Sometimes it's easier to trim off this hair before the quarter's removed, especially on an elk. But it kind of depends on the game size. You see this joint right here? So on the front leg, it's going to be right like where your knee would be, right? That's how you can think about it. There's not like another tendon that comes out and you got a couple low. So this one, you just like pretty much look at where it bends, and you're going to cut basically right on that bend. Whereas that rear leg's kind of tricky because it doesn't really seem like you're cutting in the right spot. And you kind of run your knife along there on the back and the front. If I'd cut it more first, it'd be a little easier. Come in, cut that off, and there you have a front quarter. I can go back, I can take rib meat, I can go back and get more neck meat. It's going to depend on your local laws. Some states require you take everything. Some states require you take like 80%. But we're going to come back in here, and here's the tenderloin. You're going to come behind that last rib right here. You're going to cut right under that, the ribs, those rear ribs, like you're filleting a fish. Just careful like that. Okay, so you're coming behind this last big rib, and then there's like these little ribs right here, or vertebrae. Like, you got to be very careful doing this, because if you nick the gut, your tenderloin's pretty much shot. Come in. You're going to come right in, trace. Trace, trace, trace. Then you want to kind of just really carefully get between the tenderloin and that. Reach in there and grab it and pull it. You can actually pull it out if you do it right. But it's very small on this antelope. But that's how you remove the tenderloin. It is a trickier part, and you do need to take your time. But that's how you do one side. And to do the other side, you literally just going to flip it right over, grab it by the legs, roll it over, and work that fur back the other side, and do the exact same thing. If you can see here, this is the Numa. Really high quality materials. It's got a solar panel that you can use to charge your smart devices tucked right in here. But that's kind of cool, and you can adjust the torso height. There's a couple things I really like about it, a couple things I don't really like about it. That'll be coming up in the actual product review I do on it. But what's cool about this thing is you have a meat shelf built into the back. This part right here, unhook this. These are attached to your lifter straps. And you're going to pull this back over. And you can actually use this as a meat shelf backpack on its own, or you can use it with the storage bag still attached, which I'm going to do. We're going to take just the bulk of the meat right here. We're just going to let that slide right down in there, just like so. Take this other bag, put it right on top. Want the heaviest near the back and, in my opinion, near the bottom of the pack. Then we're going to tighten these straps down as best you can. Make sure it's nice and secure in there. Nothing's going to fall out or anything like that. Oh yeah, toilet paper. It's easier to have your regular carry stuff already in there, or you're working kind of against the straps. Put your load lifter straps back in place. They just clip right into place there, or hook right into place, I should say. And there you have it, folks. The Numa backpack works pretty good. It's a very comfortable, lightweight, and very quiet backpack. Whenever you go to put on a backpack, always make sure you loosen up at least one, if not both, of your shoulder straps. And make sure you loosen up your hip belt a little bit. And that way, if you have a heavy load and you go to put it on, you're not trying to fight the straps while you got 100 pounds on your back. Yes, I know. And so there's a lot of ways to put on a backpack. If you're a regular backpacker and you don't have meat in it, or if the meat's really secure, you can actually get behind it and you flip it over your back, over your head. But tighten down the waist belt and then your straps and you're good to go. Thanks for watching Bullets for Bucks. Check out this next video and subscribe.